Hey everyone, thank you for watching part 2 of my headlight cleaning series. Today we'll be looking at toothpaste and the effects that toothpaste has. Again, we have other things. If you check out part 1, that was using insect repellent, and of course I have some other videos as well, so check out the other ones too. Other than that, just want to remind you, don't forget to like and subscribe. Let me know if you guys like what I'm doing. Other than that, let's get started. Before we get started, I should probably explain quickly what the purpose of the toothpaste and how it's working. So the idea is that toothpaste contains different chemicals inside, of course, whitening agents, fillers, little scrubbing particles and stuff like that within the toothpaste, and that of course will help clean the headlights, restore and fill in any cracks and everything like that, and help remove any staining. Of course, if you follow the steps and procedures and everything that goes along with it. But that got me thinking, because a lot of people say to make sure you use one with whitening in it, and of course make sure you use one with the little the kind of grainy feel you have to the toothpaste, that little grain that's inside of it. I'm not sure what it is, but you know what I'm talking about. And of course not gel, has to be like a paste sort of toothpaste. But I said, let me try. So just like you saw in the insect repellent video, I'm gonna try 3 different types of toothpaste just to mess around with it and see what we kind of get, what the results are of it. So we're going to start with that right now. I'll introduce you to toothpaste as we do it, but first we got to prep the car. The headlight we'll be using today will be off a 2007 Chevy Trailblazer. I picked this headlight specifically because it kind of embodies what we need for the purpose of a toothpaste test. The clear is still mostly on. It's starting to fade off, but you can see that you can still feel it's very clear. The clear coat's still there. However, you can see there's a lot of scratching, damage, discoloring, everything here. It's something you need for the toothpaste. The main purpose of toothpaste is not to take off the clear coat and restore, especially since we're not doing any sanding for the purpose of this test, but it's to take off any discoloring and fill in any cracks. So we're going to try that on this headlight here. Now it is worth pointing out this of course has an LED, so when I do it, I'll be doing the same test before. We'll be using tape across. We'll be taping a little bit off on this light as well to kind of protect it. And we're not going to bother mask off the car. I recommend you do if you are going to do this on your car. I'm not going to mask it because I'll be exercising my level of caution with it. But do so, especially depending on the test. Some tests can get messy. For this purpose here, though, I'm not going to mask everything off, but we are going to split it off into 3. Try 3 completely different types of toothpaste and see what we get. Okay, so before we begin, I do want to remind, of course, to make sure you're doing this when the headlight plastic itself is cool and it's a cool day, or it could be in the shade. If the headlight is hot, let's say it's just after use and the headlights are on and it's made the plastic hot, or if it's a hot day, you are going to have problems with hazing and stuff. When you put the stuff on, it's going to dry too quickly and can actually damage or stain the plastic. So you want to make sure you're doing this on cool plastic with cool weather, not too hot, not too cold, anything like that. Now what we'll do first is obviously you have to clean off any dirt. Of course, if this is facing the road, so any dirt, grime, anything is going to pitch up on here. So we have to clean that off first. So we're just going to use some soapy some car wash actually directly with a clean sponge, and we're just going to clean that off directly. If you want to really get a little better with it too, you want to make sure that you rinse this off first, get it wet before you start cleaning up and scrubbing down. You're going to scrub as best as possible. And then once that's done, you're going to rinse off. So we're just going to do a gentle rinse off here. And then we're going to dry. So we get ourselves a nice lint-free drying cloth, chamois, microfiber cloth, anything like that. And we're going to dry it off. Making sure you get anywhere around. Now you want to make sure, of course, you get any in the hood, because if you dry off the headlight and the water drips down onto here, then of course you're going to get, it's going to kind of mess with your working area. So you want to dry off as best as possible. Get as much water off and then leave it for a minute or 2 to air dry. Okay, so now that the headlight has now dried, it has of course improved here slightly, as it will take off a little bit of the dirt and debris, but if you can see there, it is still looking pretty bad. I know there's got some reflection, but it's still got that yellowish tinge and a lot of the scratches and stuff. So this part you wouldn't obviously normally do for when you're doing your headlight, but we're going to do it for this case here because I've got to do it for the purpose of our test. So I'm going to mark one, and about here. Two. I'm just going to put strip right across here. And of course, you wouldn't normally be doing something with this, these headlights on. Sorry, these LEDs, so this part you wouldn't have to do either. So now, although I've got technically 5 divisions, it'll be 3 different types of toothpaste. 1, 2, 3. I'll do the top and the bottom as well. So we're going to get started now with applying the first one. So the first one we're going to try is kids' toothpaste. This is actually the epitome of what you shouldn't be using. Number 1, it's very, very low abrasion. Obviously made for kids. 2, it is more of a kind of a gel-based one, as you can see there. So this is actually kind of what you're not supposed to use. But I figured let's try it just for the sake of, right? Because you never know unless you try. So we're going to use a clean microfiber cloth. I'm going to apply a healthy dose on here. And we're just going to touch it first in a few spots to kind of get the applicator going. We're just going to work it in. This part here really doesn't matter too much, up or down. Circular motion, I'm using circular obviously, but this part doesn't really matter too much. You can go left to right, up or down. It really make a little difference in the application itself. Now, actually you can look and you can kind of tell it did take off some of it. A little bit of a darkness even after we just cleaned it. Just a little bit of material came off. For an added bonus, we're going to use a toothbrush, a clean toothbrush, just a little bit moist, and we're just going to scrub that in. Make sure your toothbrush is not wet. Okay, now we're going to leave that to settle just for a moment, and while we do, we'll apply it to the second spot. For that, I'm using Colgate Total. So this here is just your standard regular paste toothpaste, not a gel-based one. It does lots of things like fights cavities, gingivitis, plaque, blah blah blah. You know, you can see what it does there. Anyway, standard toothpaste. We're going to do the same thing here. Clean microfiber cloth. We're going to apply a healthy dose to it here. And we're going to apply it here as well. So again, I'm just going to touch it here first. Get a spread. And then we're going to go add it here. So this of course has all the things that are recommended. It has the whitening agents, filler. It helps fight any cavities you have on your headlight. Anything like that, it'll help. And just to kind of sweeten the deal, you can see again, some stuff did come off there with it. We're going to use a toothbrush. I'm using the same one. I have washed it thoroughly. It's just moist because I don't want to cross-contaminate. We're going to just go. You can hear the difference in the sound because up here, for whatever reason, it's significantly scratched. Not even sure how that happened on the headlight, why it's so scratched up here versus down there. You can hear the difference in the sound regardless. There. Now I'm going to take a moment and we're going to clean that off. Okay, so while we wait for this to settle, I'm going to take now my sponge. It's wet. Use that to clean off the children's toothpaste. There we go. Now we have this done here, this side, sorry, and we're waiting for this to settle. So while we do that, and again, just to kind of confirm, if you applied, obviously if you're doing this, you're doing the whole headlight. I'm only giving about 2 or 3 minutes between the coat, when it's settled in, and then wiping it off. So I'm going to do the same here. I want to hurry up a little bit though, because I don't want it to sit too long. We're going to do the last one. The last one, I figured I'd try a little something different. We're going Sensodyne for sensitive headlights. So while we work on that, this is also again a paste type, but it's actually not as abrasive as a standard as a standard toothpaste, but at the same time it does have additional things in there to help seal off for people who have sensitive teeth and everything. It helps seal off the teeth enamel. So I figured this may be an interesting one to try. Okay. This had a more interesting reaction. It seemed to take off quite a bit of the yellowing there. And same thing once again. We are going to use a moist but clean toothbrush. Same one again. I rinsed it once again, and we're just gonna work it in. And just as a reminder, of course, I have to do this in stages because I'm doing 3 different types. When you're doing this, you just do it one shot. You just put the toothpaste across the entire headlight with a clean cloth, scrub it in with a toothbrush right across the board, let it sit. And then of course, rinse off all one shot as well. So now that we've done that, let's clean off this, shall we? Okay, so we'll begin here now. You can see a lot of the residues and stuff is coming off on my brush. Oh, sorry, my sponge. Okay, let's flip that over. Want to get off all the toothpaste that we can. And now we shall do the same for the Sensodyne. Okay, so that's all done. Now let's go ahead and remove the tape. And then we're going to do one last thing just to ensure cleanup is successful. I'm going to be careful. I don't want to damage this LED that's here. Alright, so now that that's done, I will go ahead and give it one final rinse over, just to get rid of any final contaminants on there, anything even on the body. So I'm going to give it a couple minutes just to settle in, and then I'll do the same thing. I'll do a kind of a before, mid, and after, and then we'll kind of talk about it a bit more and see what our results are. Alright, so we've now let the headlight dry, and you can see very closely, you can see where the tape mark was. Interestingly, it hasn't really taken off any of this discoloring or anything here. It actually has helped slightly with the cracks though, in the sense that when I'm touching this here, this is a lot smoother than it was before. When you're feeling down into the lower part where the clear coat still is on the plastic, it's actually even smoother. So it has actually helped in that regard. However, it has not removed any of this the scaling and everything that's done here. Between the three, of course, if you look at the kids side of things here and we feel it, the kids versus the regular paste with the whitening agents and so on, versus the Sensodyne. When you feel in the kids, it still is rougher compared to the other ones. So I could see where they're saying about using a gel-based one or one with very low abrasion. It really didn't do much of anything here. Although there is a nice shine to it, anything, it really didn't do much to help. I would say this feels probably the best of the whole lot, in the sense that it is the smoothest change from where it was before to now. But of course, it really didn't do much in regards to changing what we have here. And then the last part here with the Sensodyne actually really didn't make much difference between here and here. I'd say that the results are pretty much the same. I could see this method working pretty well in removing heavy oxidization on older headlights or things like that. This here, where this is kind of like a staining and pitting within the cracks of the headlight itself, I don't think this test will work good here. So I really can only recommend something like this if you've got an entire headlight on an older car that's been beaten down by the sun. It may help take some of that out, but for what it does and for what it is, I don't know. I just don't see the results in a really good manner. I can see it works a little bit. It's a little bit clearer. It's a little smoother, but didn't get the full results that we're looking for. Remember to watch my other videos. I'll have, again, this is a 5-part series. So check out the other ones. Let me know what you think of that as well. I hope they help you make a decision on what's the best way to clean your headlights. On that, I want to thank you very much for watching. Take care. See you next video.